Mrs. Stearns?
No.
And Mrs. Russell?
Aye. All right, we do the vote for Mrs. Jones.
Mr. Canning?
No.
Mrs. Gleason? No. Mr. Johnson?
No.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Campworth?
No.
Mrs. Stearns?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
No. Our vote is Mr. Canning. Congratulations, Mr. Canning.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your confidence.
All right, our next is the designation of an IASB delegate.
Mrs. Ressler, I'd like to nominate Mrs. Jones.
Second.
Any other?
I'd like to nominate Mrs. Campbell.
I will second that. Any other motions? All right.
For Mrs. Jones. Pardon?
Yes, Joe?
Mr. Canning?
No.
Mrs. Gleason, aye. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Campworth?
No.
Mrs. Stearns?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
No.
Mrs. Campworth? Mr. Canning? For Mrs. Campworth?
Oh, aye.
Sorry. Mrs. Gleason, no. Mr. Johnson?
Abstain.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye. Oh, for Campworth?
Yes.
No, I'm sorry, no.
Mrs. Campworth?
Aye.
Mrs. Stearns? No. Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones has 4 yeses and 3 nos. Mrs. Campworth has 3 yeses, 3 nos, and abstains. Well, Jones has more yeses.
All right, next we have 10.3, the bills, addendum to bills, payroll, and CDS bills. Do you have anything or no? All right, we'll move on. Oh, wait, do we have to? Yes. Oh, I wasn't sure if she was going to do it first.
A motion to pay the bills, the addendums to the bills.
Right here. Oh, yeah. All right, do I have a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
Second. Moved by Mrs. Gleason, second by Mrs. Campworth.
Mrs. Gleason, aye. Mrs. Campworth? Aye. Mr. Cannon?
Let's pay those bills.
Yes. Mr. Johnson?
Get it done.
Mrs. Jones? Aye. Mrs. Stearns?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
Aye. And the 2018-2019 District 228 legal budget, do I have a motion to approve? So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Campworth, second by Mr. Canning.
Mrs. Campworth? Aye. Mr. Canning?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason? Yes, yes. Mr. Johnson?
Abstain.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Stearns? Aye. Mrs. Ressler?
Aye. All right. 10.5, the 2018-2019 CDS legal budget. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mrs. Campworth, second by Mrs. Gleason. Any discussion?
Mrs.
Sorry? No?
You still talking?
Okay, go ahead.
Mrs. Campworth? Aye. Mrs. Gleason? Aye. Mr. Canning?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Abstain.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Stearns? Aye. Mrs. Ressler?
Next item is resolution, working cash abatement. we have anything? Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Gleason, second by Mr. Canning. Any discussion?
Mrs. Gleason, aye. Mr. Canning?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Campworth?
Aye.
Mrs. Stearns?
Aye.
Mrs. Wrestler?
Aye. Next, we have the fall paper bid. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Gleason, second by Mr. Canning. Any discussion?
Mrs. Gleason, aye. Mr. Canning?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Campworth?
Aye.
Mrs. Stearns?
Aye.
Mrs. Wrestler?
Aye. Next item is our overnight field trip request. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Jones, second by Mr. Canning. Any discussion?
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Canning?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason, aye. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Campworth?
Aye.
Mrs. Stearns?
Aye.
Mrs. Wrestler?
Aye. Personnel. We have resignations, retirements, and employment. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Moved by Mrs. Gleason, second by Mrs. Campworth. Do we have any discussion?
Mrs. Gleason, aye. Mrs. Campworth?
Aye. Sorry.
Mr. Canning?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Stearns?
Aye.
Mrs. Wrestler?
Aye. New business. The approval of new employment contract for Superintendent Kendall. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Gleason, second by Mr. Canning. Any discussion?
I just don't understand why we have to do this at this point when it's still some time out there. We don't do it for other staff members. Nothing against Dr. Kendall, I just think it's
Can I say something on that? Or you done? You know, in the past, I've had my issues with that, extensions of contracts and that, when you're not even a couple of years into the contract. But I'm gonna tell you, with a balanced budget, with our construction going the way it's going, and it's going beautiful, so thank you for everybody involved in that. And for the district, again, in my opinion, turning the corner and making progress like it is, how can I not vote to keep a man that is doing his very best and leading exactly what I just said to the T and making a good job of it? So I just got to throw that out there. So thank you, Dr. Kendall.
Any other comments? All right.
Mrs. Gleason, aye. Mr. Canning?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mrs. Campworth?
Aye.
Mrs. Stearns?
No.
Mrs. Wrestler?
Aye. All right, announcements are as follow. The next committee of the whole meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, October 9th at 7 p.m. at Oak Forest High School. The next board meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, October 16th at 7 p.m. at Oak Forest High School. And our board evaluation is being conducted October 23rd, 7 p.m. at Tinley Park High School. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.